What's up, everybody?
Hey y'all,
Just sitting here dancing to this imaginary music
it's hot out here.
in my head.
It's hot.
Like it's hot, like just mad for no reason hot. Like you know how like you ever meet somebody that is just like they just angry. It's angry hot. Like that's the kind of hot it is right now. Just angry because it's
Yeah.
hot. Hey Kim,
Hey, what's up, Yvonne?
I miss you guys. I miss you.
It's hot, you guys. That's all I
Hey
want to
sister.
talk about how hot it is. Yeah.
Happy Coffee Date Monday.
Hey. So what's up, y'all? We missed last Monday due to some things going on. Hey, Tasha.
We were very busy. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, we had to I had to do some things at the church, and
He's a general contractor, basically.
Kaya had to get the nails done.
Not supposed to say that.
Yeah. So anyway.
I got my nails done underground. It's a secret.
How's everybody doing? Is everybody sticking with the quarantine, stay at home, lockdown?
I feel like a lot of people that I've talked to are kind of like over it. Like they're just like, no, I'm not staying home anymore. I'm just done. I just know a lot of people that I've encountered. Some friends been texting like, let's just hang out. I'm tired of this. Let's do something. So what about you guys? How are you guys dealing with it? Anybody have plans today, like to get together with people, or like, are you guys gonna like stay quarantined? What are you guys gonna do?
Yeah. You guys gonna go somewhere? You gonna go eat some? I know Kai and I, we wanna go to one of our favorite places and hang out. Kim said she's over it.
Yeah, but she's still stuck at home.
Yeah.
Ariel's just driving. And she was just talking about how they're over it. Yeah, you know what? The other day, I went on a drive. Like, literally, I woke up and was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Target. I need to go to Target. And I decided I'm going to Target in Napa. Like, I just wanted to, like... So I just got in the car. I Papa napped Papa. Instead of kidnapping, it was Papa napping. So I stole Papa. I told him to get in the car. And Judah, we couldn't peel Judah away from his video games. But we just got in the car and we just drove all the way to Napa just to go to Target. And it was great. It was awesome. It was just such a wonderful drive. There's something about Napa, the vineyards and everything like that, and just seeing all the greenery and the mountains and stuff. It does something for me. It was good. It was good medicine.
She likes to see greenery.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
Including money. Yeah.
Andre said, what's up?
What's up, Dre? Trip?
Yeah.
Drip? I'm sorry, Dre. It's Andre. You're a saved man now. Sorry. I don't want to go back to that old life. Anyway.
Yeah, the old man's dead.
Yeah,
No
both of us.
one's walking around calling you J-Bone.
No, dang. Just bring that up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Oh, Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
Yeah, you guys. So, man, sometimes we get on here and we have topics and stuff that we like to talk about. Sometimes,
I like to be prepared. Like, I like to have a topic.
sometimes I got to flow off the top of my head like it's somebody tell me to spit 16 bars.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
flowing, guys. I don't like the flowing.
Freestyle Fridays.
The flowing's not good.
Yeah. Anyway, but you guys, hey Faith.
Hi, Faithy.
If you guys have any questions for us, let us know. We'd love to talk about something, anything. But I just, right now, I just want to encourage you guys as it appears that this shelter in place, shelter at home here, at least in California, is starting to let up a little bit. I just want to encourage you guys to keep focused. Don't lose your minds. Stay safe. But stay safe, but don't be afraid. Okay, that's all I had to say. They're so afraid to do certain things. Don't be afraid. The Bible tells us and it commands us to be brave, be courageous.
Joshua 1:9.
Yeah, and so you have to understand that there has to be, in order for you to be courageous, there has to be fear, has to be present. Mm-hmm. So if you do something without any fear present, then you're not brave. but in order to be brave, in order to be courageous, fear has to be present. So you have to do it afraid. And God has told us, look, don't worry, for the Lord thy God will go with you wherever you go.
Hey, Mel.
So you guys go out, be smart, do what they're asking you to do, and that way we can get back to somewhat of being normal. Because being trapped in the house with my wife, as much as I love her, we got to get up out of here.
He's
you guys.
not trapped in the house, you guys. He literally leaves for work and goes and works at the church all day and comes home. Like you guys, he has. I don't feel like he's like really. I can count on one hand that he's actually stayed home the way he was supposed to during the quarantine.
Are you?
He's been working. He's been at the church. He's been working. So yeah.
No.
But I do feel like it brings up a good point. I feel like when we started the quarantine, a lot of our talks were geared more toward trying to find some fun ways to be together as couples and doing things that interest each other and being able to try to avoid a lot of unnecessary arguments and things like that. But I feel like as we're getting toward the end of the quarantine, I feel like more of the focus should now be about noticing the things that we should maybe be protecting. Some things that has really come up during the quarantine that we've enjoyed and we want to protect. Like I know for me, I've really enjoyed spending a lot more time eating with the family because we're senior pastors. Like we find ourselves busy a lot. Like I'm constantly searching my calendar, trying to figure out when I can fit something or someone into a space. Like so, literally, like if there's an available spot, like it's either getting full like the day before, or I mean, like I'm constantly looking for more spaces to reach out to more people, connect with more people. We're counseling people. We're having meetings because we're a young church, so there's always something that we're planning or organizing or fixing or whatever. But during the quarantine, I found spending more time together as just a family has really been enjoyable, and I really enjoy it. So as we're getting toward the end of this quarantine, I'm noticing the things that I want to start protecting. Our coffee date Mondays. We've always done our coffee date Mondays, but I feel like during the quarantine, it's made us put more of an emphasis on it. I know it may not sound like it makes sense because we're like spending more time together, but with the coffee date Mondays, it's literally like us focusing on just spending time with just one another. And so during the quarantine, I feel like we've been taking that a little bit more seriously and planning out more time with it. Because with our normal coffee date Mondays that we were doing before, I think that it's probably like it wasn't as long, right? A lot of our coffee dates that we were doing, it wasn't as long because then like we go the rest of the day doing whatever. But during the quarantine, it's like we've carved out a larger chunk of time for our coffee date Mondays of really just having more, intentional time together.
Yeah, I think personally for me, I've learned how to communicate better with my wife during disagreeable moments, and I want to keep that. And when I'm just going to speak as a man, if that's okay, because that's the only way.
As a man.
That's the only way I can speak.
I don't really want you to speak as a woman.
Thank
so
you.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm not going to get soft.
But soft.
As a man, I'm understanding that my wife is like the ocean, and
We need a charger? Is that what it is?
and the waves start with what?
Do we need a charger? Is that why the
It's the light, honey.
Oh,
Okay, you gonna interrupt me again?
sorry.
Yeah. So the waves of the ocean are always different. Those are the seasons with my wife, and what I've learned is the way that I used to talk to her before is different now. So I gotta learn how to communicate with her different. And so during these times, even though she says I'm always away, I'm at work, I'm not. I've been here at home a lot. And so being together a lot of times, because I am an extrovert, I'm used to being around people, so then I start getting a little fidgety, and my buttons get pressed easy, and she'll press my buttons. Or sometimes I'm so focused on what I'm missing out on that I'm not providing what she needs because I'm focused on what I'm not getting, and because she's not getting what she's supposed to get. I should be able to discern that as her husband and be selfless, but there was times I haven't. So what I learned during this time is we got a chance to sit down and talk just recently about communication. And it's funny because you think, right when you think you got communication down, you get a little older and things in your life change. And so personally for me, I've learned that during this season with my wife, what her needs are, what she wants, and to learn how to discern what she needs during this season and during this time, and make sure she gets it. Why is this fly flying around here? Anyway, but yeah, that's what I learned, and I'm going to protect that because I noticed once I've learned that, our relationship has gotten a lot better. Now that means it's your turn. Say something.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the dark camera's throwing her off.
It is. I can't see myself.
Because she can't see herself.
I can't see myself. I can't see you. I can't see anything. I don't know if they can see us or
Well,
what.
one, because you got the glare, honey, since I got to tell you all that. It's always been like that. There's a glare, so you can't see that. But they can see you fine. Somebody tell her that they can see her fine, please, so she'll be okay. Cindy, tell her she can see
When
you fine.
you are of the brown skin persuasion,
Sure.
you gotta, lighting is very important, okay? Because when you're brown skin like me and you don't have the proper light, you don't know if people can see you or what. Like, I don't know if I'm like,
Okay.
if the darkness has swallowed me up or what. I don't know.
So listen, you guys, we have this problem. We have this major problem that I'm just going to put out there, okay? I'm going to put it out there. Every time
You're always
Kai and
putting stuff out
I
there.
do, I know. Every time Kai and I go to take pictures,
Yes.
there's a problem. Because if they make it too bright,
We can't see him.
I'm like, I look like I got a battery in my skin, and I look like a neon light, and she looks fine. But if they make it too
He
dark,
looks like a nightlight.
yeah, and if they make it too dark, you can't. All you see is her smile in her eyes.
can't see nothing.
You can't see. So we have this issue
Yeah.
every time we do photos.
There's a song, I think somebody wrote a song about it. Ebony and ivory.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all I know.
yeah. So anyway, here we go. Oh yeah. Anyway, so besides that, you guys, nothing else has really been going on. Everything for us lately has been church. We're getting ready to just get things prepared. You know, you always got to prepare for when they say, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to be ready, you know, to be instant, in season and out of season.
Yeah.
So the moment that we get this right here, we're going to be in it. We're going to be at that. We're going to do what we got to do. We're going to have service, and I miss everybody's face.
Yeah, I miss everybody too. And like online and Zoom meetings and things like that, it's just not the same, you know, because it's awkward because either somebody's talking and they're muted and they don't know that they're muted and they're just talking, or, you always have those Zoom creepers where somebody will just log on to Zoom and they're just looking at everybody's faces. Like they're just looking and they're not saying anything. So there's always these extreme, people on each extreme. Either they're talking too much and they don't realize that they're muted and we got to get them to start over again, or either somebody's choppy or somebody's just wanting to look at everybody and they don't want to talk. So it's not the same. We definitely miss being with people in person. But some of the things that John and I are noticing, that as we get older, some of the things that we do and the things that we enjoy change, and having to find enough grace within ourselves to be okay with one another's changes. Because like as he's getting older, there's certain things that he used to like to do that he doesn't really like that much. There are certain other things that are like more important to him. But a lot of times when we're not giving each other enough grace, we may not notice some of those changes, because we could be prone to say things like, but we always do this, or this is what you always like, or this is what you always like to go out and do, or whatever. But I feel like love allows room for grace and allows room for the maturity and for us to evolve as individuals and just as humans, period. Like things that we like change. And during this quarantine, I feel like because we're a little bit more mature, we've been taking more time of talking things out. Like, you know what, when you say that makes me feel like this. And then he'll say, okay, well, when you said that made me feel like you were saying this or whatever. And I find us doing a lot more listening as we're getting older, instead of always gearing up to have a response. Have you ever like talked to somebody like that? Like you're talking to them and you don't really feel like they're listening to you because you feel like they're just loading up a response before they even hear out the whole matter. You ever talk to somebody like that?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like, okay, I feel like you missed the whole
Yes.
rest of what I just said because you were so quick to like come at the defense.
Yes.
But I feel like as we get older, we let go of some of that. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether we call that zeal, whether we call that like just so prone on being right. But as you get older, you kind of let some of that go, and you can just calmly have a conversation and really listen to each other.
I wouldn't say
on both
older. I
points.
would say more mature.
Mature. Yeah. Well, that's what I should have said. Mature. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing is, you know, one thing we learned is when you talk, when you're trying to hash out an argument, a good thing to say is, "I feel."
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your feelings are your feelings, and nobody can't tell you that you don't feel that way.
Right.
If that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. And so, you know, my wife would look at me and say, "You made me feel." So when she says that, because I care how she feels, I listen to her. When you said that, you made me feel
So
whatever.
Right.
And so then I have to answer to that feeling.
Yeah.
And because now I've recognized, and what's happened in the past is because I'm so busy trying to defend what I said, I've ignored her feeling.
Yeah.
And then watch this. Then guess what happens? Now there's there's two offenses now.
Yeah.
Not only did I hurt her feelings or
Originally,
made her
yeah.
feel a certain way, now I don't even care about how she feels. So the key thing isn't just the fact of her telling me how she feels, but it's also me hearing how she
Acknowledging,
feels.
yeah.
And then going, you know, hey, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to feel that way. That's not my
Or
intentions.
I didn't mean to make you feel that way.
That's what I thought I just said. I didn't mean to make you feel that way, but this is what I was trying to say. This is what I was trying to get across. And that's what's real important when it comes down to trying to hash out disagreements with your significant other, is to make sure that you're doing a lot more hearing. You know, the amazing thing that God did for us is He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, which means we need to be listening twice as much than we're talking. I love the math of God. You think about it. Is because, but the hard thing is we want to do more talking than listening because we want to be heard so bad. And then when we don't feel like people hear us, and I don't even want to get into the point that 90% of people have issues with communicating their feelings or how they feel, and don't add anger into it, because then you start just going off at the top of the mouth. And the Bible says the tongue is such a small thing, it's an unruly thing, and no man has mastered it. And we start just going off. But instead of being quick to speak, we should listen.
Be quick to hear. Yeah.
And be able to answer those things as it's being said.
Yeah. And so we've almost kind of used that statement as like, you know how when you were little kids and you'd play tag and you'd run and you'd say base. I don't know if any of you guys did that, but me as a kid, like I would make up all kind of random bases. Like every time I ran off somewhere, I'd be like base, and they'd be like, "No, you didn't say that was base. You said that was base. No, this is base. Now this is base."
That's
so,
cheating.
Yeah,
that's literally cheating.
Yeah, it is cheating.
You gotta establish where the base is.
Yeah, you gotta establish
because you guys know them kids that used to always play right before they get caught. They're like,
all of a sudden,
time out.
Yeah, or
base
or a new base. Yeah,
no, the base is over there.
Right. So for us, the statement "I feel" is a safe place. It's a base for us. Because nobody can say, no, you don't feel that way. No, you can't do that. You can't challenge somebody on their feelings. Their feelings belong to them. Yeah. And it's actually a really great place to start a conversation from how somebody feels. Because a lot of times, people are arguing, or there's lots of disagreements, or there's offenses, or there's unforgiveness in a lot of relationships, and people don't know where it came from. It's like, we were doing good, and then all of a sudden we just weren't clicking right, or we just wasn't flowing, or whatever. It's because somewhere along the lines somebody failed to, one, state their feelings. This is how I feel. I feel was something that should have been said a while ago. And issues and conflicts and things like that came in and buried all of those things, and now all of a sudden you have marriages that have grown cold and have gotten stale because there's a bunch of feelings that weren't addressed.
Unresolved issues.
Unresolved issues, yeah, come from, and the thing is that it's not always the other person's fault, because it's a two-way thing. Like, if I'm feeling something, I have a responsibility in our marriage to state those feelings. Those feelings are important, and they must be validated with a conversation, because maybe I'm feeling something that's not really there, or not really true, or not really, but if I don't say something about it, he can't address it. He can't help me, or help me navigate through some of those feelings that we're supposed to together, because the Bible says that when you become married, you become one. So there's a lot of feelings, and there's a lot of things that we go through that we're supposed to literally be going through it together, navigating together. And so conversation and communication is so important.
Yeah, and the other thing is unspoken expectations.
Yeah.
You sit down and you expect your significant other to know how you feel.
Or read your mind.
Or read your mind. It's like, they should know how I feel. They should know what I want. We've been married 20 years. They should know. They've been married 10 years. We've been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't, okay?
They don't know.
They don't know. I'm telling you, like, literally, they don't know. And it happens. But so when we have these unspoken expectations, we expect something from somebody. It's not fair for them.
Yeah, it's not.
Because they don't know exactly what you expect from them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that across the board. There's certain things that you can expect. I expect my wife to respect me. Those are fine. I don't have to tell her to respect me.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like certain needs. Like, my wife didn't come and give me my affirmation for today.
Yeah.
She usually does it. No, you can't expect that. You got to speak up and say something.
And I think another thing about that too is, like, for instance, like, say John will say, Kaya, I just, it's a given that I expect for you to respect me. However, respect is the definition of respect for one person can be completely different for another person. So that's why communication is so important in every relationship, because, like, literally, if you aren't married to somebody that you can consider your best friend, a lot of these conversations and this communication won't happen, because if you don't enjoy talking out the most minute details or minute thoughts or random thoughts or whatever, a lot of these things won't come up. But defining what respect means to you is something that should be talking about, that should be talked about. Defining what a loving relationship means to you is something that should be talked about, because we've been brought up in different households. Like, I seen a marriage done one way, and he has seen a marriage done a completely different way. And for me, respect could mean something else. For me, a loving relationship could mean something else. And for him, completely different. And so when I say, hey, I need you to love me. Okay, so, like, what exactly does that mean for you, Kaya? Like, let's talk about it. Like, and we can't think it's foolish to talk about that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things that makes long-lasting, flourishing relationships.
Wow.
When you talk about that kind of stuff.
Watch this, because as you said it, just the pastor and me, just things bubbled up, because this is the problem that we have as Christians with God, is
Marlon's saying some good stuff. That's good, Marlon.
He said, if you don't say, you don't know.
Don't know,
so
yeah.
watch this. Watch this. I'm just going to correlate to that, because as you notice, God, you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength. He doesn't just order you and tell you and command you to love him, but as you read the Bible, he tells you how to show your love towards him.
Yeah.
But the problem with us is people,
We don't define.
we want to love God the way we want to love him. And that happens in a relationship, is that I want to love Kaya the way I want to love her. And when I do that, I may not be meeting her requirements of making her feel loved. So therefore, when I say, Kaya, what would make you feel loved from me? What will make you feel loved? Then she begins to tell me. So and once she tells me, I need to take that, hide it in my heart, and learn to love her the way she needs to be loved.
That's good.
The same way Christ says, this is how you love me.
1 Corinthians.
And he breaks it down.
Love is patient, love is kind.
Yeah, but he tells you this is what you do. This is how you show you love me. You obey these words. And how do we obey them? We obey what we read and what we know about him. So as we get to know him, and once again, that word know is intimate. As we get to know him, we know how to love him correctly. As Kai and I get to know each other, as we're getting older, I've learned that her love languages occasionally change. So I got to be constantly with her to find out and asking her, what is it you need from me today?
Yeah.
What is it you need from me so you will know and feel secure to know that I love you and that you'll feel the love that I'm trying to give to you.
And
show
those
you.
things are always changing. And it's not like one change meant that the other thing was less important or whatever. It's not. It's just as we continue to grow together. When something's growing, when you reach a new height, there's different things that you deal with at those different heights that you did at a lower time. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, as a child, there's certain things that were super important to you. That doesn't mean that they're less important now, but now that you're older, there's, you're noticing more things. Your perspective is now changing. And so now there's other things that you want to highlight and make a priority as well. So those conversations should be constantly be happening. And that's why things like Coffee Date Monday is great, because it happens once a week. Like, a lot can happen in 7 days. Like, a lot can happen from Monday to the next Monday. A lot of things can happen in our family. A lot of different things that happen with our kids. Lots of things could happen. Dynamics in our family, our ministry that we do together. Lots of things. But each week, it's almost like a checkup, So how are you feeling, and how do you feel about that? And when that happened, what did you think? And I remember when he first brought up Coffee Date Mondays once a week, doing this with me. I remember thinking, man, I just love the fact that he would put such a priority on sitting down talking to me, because one of the hardest times in our marriage, I'll never forget it. We literally almost didn't make it, you guys. It was bad. It was bad. And I remember we sat down with a counselor, because I'm like, dude, we need to talk to somebody. Because I kept feeling like when I was talking to him, like he wasn't hearing me for some reason. And then he was talking to me, and I'm like, I don't even understand what he's talking about.
Now, mind you, the marriage almost ended, but we were madly in love with each other.
Yeah, totally.
But the marriage, but we were madly in love with each other.
Yeah, we were. And so we ended up sitting down talking to somebody, and I'll never forget. And it wasn't our first visit. I can't remember which visit it was, but it was almost like a glass broke, you guys. It was almost like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, John didn't just hear me, but he heard my heart. And
I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
I remember we were going back and forth, and it seemed as if the counselor was...
The counselor was confused.
She was, because she couldn't understand. Why are you guys in such trouble, but you walk in here holding hands?
Yeah, you guys
You're sitting next
right
to
next
each other.
She was like, you guys look great.
Right. She's like, yeah, but we have these standards, too, that we will meet.
And expectations.
Expectations, and we couldn't get past something, and we were bickering. We were going back and forth. And finally the counselor looked, and she goes, Kaya, what is it that you're trying to say to John?
Yeah. And I'll never forget when she asked me that way. And another thing I think helped you guys too, because I'm going to say that. I'm going to address what I was about to say. But I think another thing that was really big, you guys, was talking to another person. So, because what happened was, over a period of time, John and I were talking to each other, but it was like we were talking at each other. We weren't talking to each other. So we weren't really hearing each other. But when we started sitting down with the counselor, we were talking to the counselor, and he had to sit there and listen. Not formulate a response, not formulate a comeback, defense, nothing. He was just sit in a position to listen as I was talking to someone else. So that was a big thing. Okay, the second thing is, I remember saying to her, in a roundabout way, I can't remember the exact verbiage, but I remember explaining that when John and I got married, he had our 2 sons already. He had sons from previous relationships, and then we had this ministry, and he had these best friends that loved him, and they were over a lot. We had some other families that we were close to, so they were around a lot. And then John has a really tight-knit family, just period. They're really close, and that was a lot. And I remember trying to really be able to answer her question when she was like, well, what is it, Kaya? Tell me what you want. What do you want from John? And I remember when I cut back all the fat of everything, all the fluff, I was like, dude, I just want John. Literally, that's all I want. And it took me a while to be able to say, yeah, that's the problem. That's where it is. I just want him. All I wanted was his time. All I wanted was his attention, was his focus. John was so John is such a servant at heart that he won't notice that he's giving his entire life to something or someone because it's in his makeup to just give and to serve and to just love on people. Like, that's who he is. Like, that's what fills his joy bucket. But he'll do it to a point where he won't realize it if it's killing him or if it's killing our relationship. Like, he won't notice right away in the beginning. Now he will, but in the beginning he didn't. And so he was trying to give as much as he could to his boys who weren't living with us at the time. So there was visitations things, so he didn't have them all the time. So when we did have them, he wanted to do all he could with them. And then, there's his close-knit family, and there was things that was going on with his family that he had to make sure he did that. And then there was ministry stuff. And so there was all these different buckets that John was like trying to make sure he poured enough into. And I would keep looking at my bucket and was saying, dude, I don't have enough John. Like, my bucket is a little low. Like, I want some more of John. Like, I married you to be with you, and that's what I want. And I'll never forget that night because I looked over at him and I was shocked to see he was like getting emotional. Like, he just like literally like heard me out of nowhere. Like, oh my gosh.
I heard her in my heart.
Yeah. And
I began to weep. And I still get a little emotional about it, but it was like the first time I ever really heard her. And, it was something so easy that I allowed to cause this rift in our marriage, that all she wanted was more of me. Now, mind you, getting a revelation and then doing it, two completely different things.
Yeah.
But the revelation hit me, and I felt bad about it. I felt convicted that here I am, a husband, a man of God, and I've been ordered to love my wife as Christ so loved the church. And for my wife to say I need more of my husband, I just need my husband. It made me feel like I was neglecting everything. And everything came flooding down on me at one time. Yeah. And from that day, everything changed. Everything changed. And it can be a long story, but from that moment, I just began to ask God, how do I become a husband? You have to show me how to become a husband. How am I supposed to be this husband that you have made for this woman? And God literally, I asked him, and God literally,
he did.
Scripture for scripture, began to show me how to love on my wife, how to love my wife as Christ loves the church. And I said, well, what does that mean? That you died? He goes, no, I didn't just die, but I lived, and I lived as an example, and I empowered the church after I was sacrificed, when the church was empowered. So if you want to empower your wife, you have to sacrifice unto death. And he just began to show me, and I'm like, what does it look like? He goes, as Christ. And he began to show me that Christ is the anointing, and where the anointing comes from, and it's from the Spirit. And he began to show me the fruits of the Spirit and how to love her. And over a matter of time, God began to show me, and part of the fruit of that revelation is Coffee Date Mondays. Part of the fruit of that is, I sacrifice myself completely for my family. And, honestly, if I could be honest, there's times I sacrifice so much, I'm sitting there going, what about me? Because I feel like, dude, what about me? Is anybody else making those sacrifices? Nobody's sacrificing like I'm sacrificing. I'm the one that's getting up and working. I'm the one that's doing this. I'm the one that always, backs away so everybody else can have what they want to have and do all the other stuff. And I'm like, what about me? What about me? And I remember I went to the Lord, and the Lord said, what about me? He said, what about me? And I'm like, wait, what? And everything I said, he said back to me. He says, I died, I suffered, I left heaven for you because I love you so much, and I sacrificed and gave you everything. And John, you haven't yet to give me everything. You think you've given me everything, but what about me? What about the sacrifices I make? So listen, you're gonna feel like that, but at the end, you're gonna be rewarded. You're going to have everything you need. You're going to have peace in your home. You're going to have a wonderful marriage.
Trust.
You're going to have trust. You're going to have children that learn from an example of what it looks like to love each other, to get through hard times and good times. And he began to show me the road. He showed me the glory that was set before me for the things that I am dealing with now. And as I began to see that, now that it's the joy. It's the joy to sacrifice for my family. It's a joy because I know what the fruits are going to be of afterwards. Yeah.
So it was really good. Like as far as like sometimes like when you really feel like some of the communication that you guys are trying to get across to each other, and it feels like it's just like hitting a wall. Like you feel like, okay, he heard me, but I don't really feel like he like heard me. Like he heard me, but he didn't hear me. Sometimes it's good to just like bring in another person that you guys trust, that you know will have you guys' best interest. And for us, because of our current situation at the time, we went to an outside source. Like we went to an actual outside counselor, like marriage. She wasn't a marriage counselor, was she?
Yes, she was certified.
Yeah, so it was an outside counselor for us because just because of our position and where we were at and everything like that, we just felt like that was the best thing for us. And I am so thankful that we did. Honestly, my first bit of thankfulness came from his agreeance to do it. Like, because a lot of men, for whatever reason, you guys, like even now, John will be like, our marriage is perfect. Like our marriage, we have a great marriage. Like he literally like, our marriage is so perfect.
I still say we have perfect
It's
marriage.
so perfect. But, and so a lot of men will not agree to do counseling. Like, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's just like, I don't know if it's a big deal. I don't know what the problem is, but the fact that he agreed to do that, that meant a lot, because I feel like that was the first step in us being able to receive something out of that to help better us. And I'm really thankful for it.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, just honestly, I don't even know if there's any guys watching right now. If you don't want to go to counseling, you don't want your marriage better.
Yeah.
Sorry, just got to put it out there like that.
Yeah.
If your wife says, look, we need counseling, and you go, we don't need counseling.
We're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're
but she
fine.
ain't.
Yeah. And the biggest takeaway from the counseling was us being forced to sit and listen to one another in a different way. You know, and it wasn't arguing. It wasn't, well, you said this, or you said, no, it was literally like, okay, let's talk about each piece. And it goes back to that, one of the things that we were saying at the beginning, like for you, define love. What's love to you? What's a loving relationship to you? Because to him, it's something different. John, define respect. What does respect look like to you? Because to her, it looks like something completely different.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's where the help comes in, you know, and the love of the relationship enough to like want to sit and have those talks and be able to communicate and care. You guys, without love, nobody's going to invest that much time or effort into stuff like that. Like no one's going to do that. But love will make you say, yeah, it's worth it, because I do not want to lose her. I do not want to lose him. I do not want to lose what we got. So it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth any of that. It's worth. I don't even know why guys wouldn't want to.
I don't know. I don't know what the big deal is with counseling with guys. I don't know really what that is, but I don't know if it's just like they feel like it's a sign of weakness or something. Like I don't need no help.
I don't know. I don't know. I've been to all kinds of counselors. Marriage counselors, psych counselors. I've been to them all, and I don't mind, because at the end of the day, if I want to be better, I'm going to do what I need to do.
You gotta do what you need to do. Yeah.
If I want my marriage better, we're gonna go see somebody.
Yeah,
we're gonna see somebody.
We're definitely advocates for therapy. You know, for counselors, we're advocates for that. I don't know. Some Christians feel weird about it or whatever. We're not one of those. There's great benefits in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and Marlon,
Marlon's
Marlon, you gonna have to sit right here. We're gonna have to bring you guys.
We need you to be a part of our studio audience.
Yeah, because Marlon basically said, and men, and I'm saying this to men or even the wives, don't go just because the other one wants you to go. You need to go because basically I'm going because I want this better.
Yeah, he said it's we, not me.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
That's so good.
Good.
And Melinda, you're right. It is about being okay with vulnerability and fear. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why our
Coming
marriage...
from a counselor.
Oh, yeah, she is a counselor. That's why she knows.
She knows.
That's right. I forgot.
Coming from a counselor.
I totally forget sometimes that's Melinda's a counselor. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's so true. Like, I feel like that's one of the reasons why our relationship has grown in the ways that it has, is because we do trust each other enough to be vulnerable and to talk about our fears. It's surprising how long you can be with somebody and not trust them with some of your deepest feelings and fears and vulnerable areas.
Ooh, let's address this.
Yeah.
Carmel.
What's she saying?
Basically, a lot of times people don't want other people in their business.
Oh, like counselors and stuff like that?
Yeah, but see, and I'm going to tell you where that comes from, because traditionally in church, a lot of the counselors are the pastors
Or deacons.
are just they're people in the church, and unfortunately the confidentiality aspect of it isn't kept, and then before you know it, everybody knows your business. That's unprofessional, it's ungodly, and it's a shame that those things happen. Even to the point that the reason, like Kai and I, we went to an outside counselor. So, I mean, really, yeah, I don't want nobody in my business. But at the end of the day, if somebody has to get in my business to fix our
For help.
business, then I'm going to let them. I don't care how ashamed I am or what other people find out, because at the end of the day, I'm going to bear the shame to make this better. It sounds like Jesus. He bore the shame to make the relationship between man and him better.
That all goes back to the sacrifice, the king, the priest, and the prophet.
It goes
That's
back
the kind
to
of sacrifices they make. The reason why we picked the outside person that we did is because at that time, our ministry hadn't really been established yet. We didn't have that availability, or we didn't have like a church that we were still connected to at the time to be able to do that. And the friends that we were hanging around, we did not. They
weren't gonna help us.
It's not about them being in our business. It's just that
we loved them, but
it wasn't the kind of help that we needed from them, you know.
And the cool thing about it is too, guys, we invested. We went and saw a professional, licensed counselor that we let her know, because I believe she wasn't even Christian, but we let her know our beliefs before when we went in there. And basically, this is a relationship thing. I don't want to hear any of this worldly stuff. And she's all for it. She's like, I understand, I understand. And she counseled us from there. Matter of fact, by the time we got done, she was like, I don't need to see you guys anymore.
She broke up with us.
Yeah, she broke up with us. She's like, just keep doing what you're doing.
We were going to keep coming to her because we were like, yeah, we'd like to come back again next, in another 2 weeks or whatever. She was like, guys, you guys don't need to come to me anymore.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I was like, are you breaking up with us?
Yeah.
She was like, I have never seen a couple like you guys come for my help. She's like, you guys didn't need my help. But in fact, we did, though, because we gained a lot from it.
Oh, yeah, even to this day. And this is over 12 years ago, I think it is. About 12 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, so you guys, I just want to encourage you guys, man, just strengthen your relationships. And I know, for some of you guys maybe single right now, and you say, man, this is good. I'll be able to use this when I get married. Yeah, you can, but a lot of these principles work very well with just regular relationships with friends. And I'm not talking about opposite sex friends. I'm talking about your buddy, your best friend.
Any kind of relationship.
Any kind of relationship. It's very important that you practice these principles, and then you could take them into a marriage. I do want to say one thing, and I honestly believe this, is that the way that Kai and I started our relationship off was pivotal into us surviving.
That's a good point.
Surviving what happened earlier on in our marriage.
Have we ever told them that?
I believe so. I think we have.
I don't feel like we have talked about it on the Facebook live things, but you guys, when we were recording, like, we didn't kiss, we didn't hold hands, we weren't alone. Like, people thought we were crazy. They were like, you guys ain't little kids. We were like, we don't care. We want to do this God's way to see what God's going to do for us. Like, literally, it's like we wanted to deposit God's check into our bank account so we can be able to make a withdrawal later. And I definitely feel with my whole heart that is the reason why it almost died, but it was literally resurrected stronger and better than before, because we were able to cash out on that investment that we made in the beginning of doing it His way.
Yeah, the key thing was for us was that, mind you, I've been in relationships, and so has she, and we did things different.
Did it all our way.
And I wasn't trying to do this just to be, like, I want to look like I'm a man of God. No, I was literally doing it because I wanted something different. And I said, you know what? Why not do it God's way, and not the American way, but I'm talking about old school, traditional. Accountability,
people.
almost Hebrewish, if I must say myself. It was like, hey, you're married, but you're living over there and you're living over here, and if you see each other in town, that's fine, but besides that, nothing else goes on. And I was the one that told Kai, I said, look, if we're gonna be together, no kissing, no holding hands, no hugging, no being alone. Everywhere, if we're gonna see each other, we're gonna have chaperones. And she looked at me like,
I was like, who is this man?
Okay.
This is amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the fact that he was coming in with a standard and he was setting it. I'm like, dude, this is the kind of man I want. This is the kind of man I want to be connected to. This is the kind of man that I want to learn to follow as he follows Christ. Like, if he's following God, dude, let's go. Where are we going? I'm in the car. Let's go. I loved that. It was the biggest attraction about him for me.
Yeah, and so during that time, we literally learned to be friends.
Yep. Best friends. Yep.
You're not going to fall in love because of a feeling or somebody made you feel a
or
certain
because
way.
He looked good. Because girl, one day he wake up and he ain't looking like how he be looking on the normal. Like, you know, he be having some off day. Maybe he didn't shave. I don't know.
Yeah, man, looking homeless.
Yeah.
Start losing hair.
Especially for No Shave November.
Yeah.
Hot mess.
Yes.
Hot mess.
But anyway, I know literally we learned to be friends, and man, I'm going to tell you one of the oddest things about it too is when we finally said I do, and they said you may now salute the bride.
Yeah.
It was one of the weakest kisses.
It was the most awkward, you guys. Like, because I had never kissed him, so I didn't know what to do, and it was weird because I had gotten so good at having John Butcher as my friend. Like, he was my
I was her brother, and she was my sister.
Friend. He was my best friend. So now here we had to figure out how to make this transition.
And it didn't come easy.
You guys, and it wasn't fast.
It wasn't.
But you know what? And I almost felt a little weird and awkward about it because I'm like, why are we feeling this? Why are we having a hard time making this transition from friend to,
lovers.
like lovers? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. But then you know what I realized? That's the way God intended for it to be. Because guess what? Now we just finished one journey of friendship. Now we were starting a whole nother journey of like lovers and partners and companions and everything. And that was a completely new journey. It wasn't like, oh, I already know. Oh, I already know. No, it was all new, you guys. It was all, every day was new. Every day was exciting. Every day we were learning something.
Hey, can I share? I'm going to share this with you. And I've heard so many different men and women of God talk about it's impossible, but they don't understand the principle behind this. Mm-hmm. God can restore your spirit of purity.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
we literally prayed, you guys.
Literally, we prayed.
Yep.
Without getting too into it, but I've been out there. I've just been out there, and I've shared things I shouldn't have shared with people, and I only wanted to share with my wife, and I had these things that I wanted to get rid of in my mind and in my body. The Lord literally gave me a spirit of purity, and when I say that, I don't say that is, because there's women out there got kids, and they're like, well, how can he restore my purity? I got kids. I won't be. It's not about physical purity. It's a spiritual
purity.
Of purity.
Mm-hmm.
So over that time, my wife and I, because it was over a year and something that we had no physical contact, we weren't kissing, obviously no sex, none of that, no holding hands. There's some things that are removed from out of your life during that time naturally, so that when you do come together, because one of the things that people were saying to us,
a lot of people were saying,
Christians were saying, how are you going to know if it's going to be good?
You guys,
how are you going to
know
if she's going to be? You need to try. You don't buy a car without test driving
it first.
You guys,
it was so bad.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? These are Christians.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not how it's going to work, because
we're doing it different.
It's almost like this, and I hate to use this comparison.
Oh Lord, here we
Ready?
go.
A starving man doesn't care what kind of food he eats, just as long as he gets food. That's basically what it boils down to. When you have two people that literally are deprived and don't have all these outward sources and feelings and things coming with you, no pornography, none of that stuff, and you come together, this is what you want.
It took away all comparison to anything
exactly.
outside.
Thank you.
That's so much better than a starving man taking whatever. Anyway, it literally got rid of all comparisons, the temptation to compare to anything else. And so we literally both prayed a prayer of purity and asked the Lord to give us a spirit of purity, just like he said. And I believe that happened. And then that we were able to grow in that journey together without being tempted to compare to anything, because that was all wiped away. That was all under the blood, and sealed. So, man, it's just been such a great journey, because I feel like that's exactly the way the Lord wanted it to be. He's like, I want you guys to take time learning each other and growing together. Like, it shouldn't be something that you just kind of pick up in the middle. No, pick up with it at the beginning, the way it's always intended for it to be. And I'm so thankful that we did it that way, because it's like such a beautiful part of our story. And I believe that the relationship and the friendship that we took the time to build in the beginning is still here today. Like, it's still here. The friendship is still here. The guy I used to talk to on the phone for hours, fall asleep, wake up, talking on the phone to this guy, not want to hang up the phone. Like, we still have that kind of relationship. We still want to talk to each other for hours. And I'm so thankful.
And when I feel like talking, because I could do that a lot.
Because he can talk the head off a mushroom. He can.
I'm always going to her. And you know what? I thank God that sometimes she'll sit down and listen to the things I know she doesn't even care about. She's
like
politics and everything else. If my good friend Matt Kachunas isn't available on the phone,
he has to talk to
I got to talk to her. We get to talk politics. So yeah, it's just a blessing. And then of course, like on these Mondays, I sit down and I got to hear her 3,000 words of saying the same thing over and over again. How can you tell me about one thing 5 or 7 different ways?
Because it's called descriptions, adjectives, pronouns. Like, I'll tell the story one way, but then I want to tell it again with more detail.
John, it was a red car. It was a car that was red. It was a car that drives that was red with 4 doors. Did I tell you that this car was red with 4 doors?
That is that way I talk. And you know what's so sad? He teased me because I pray that way too, you guys. Like, literally, he has teased me for the way I pray. But I say prayer is a conversation, and I talk. That's the way I talk. So of course I'm gonna pray that way too, because it's the way I talk. I'll say something one way, and then I'll say it. I'll round it around again, and say it a different way with more description and more color. But
yeah, and that's why the Lord told me to love her with patience.
Yes.
And long suffering.
Yes, that's right, Melinda. I'm a writer. She says she's a writer at heart. That's why I'm receiving that. I'm receiving that, Melinda.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right. You need to be right.
Yes. Yes.
She should be. But you guys, it is Monday. We're
it's
outside.
Hot.
It is hot.
I'm sweating.
It is the Dickens
I'm
out
sweating,
here.
y'all. And I still don't know if y'all can see me, because I still can't see me.
Levi, what's up, man?
The whole screen is dark. So I don't know. I'm just lost in the darkness at this point.
She just came to see herself. Everybody said that you look good with the natural light.
Oh,
okay?
I can't. Okay, I'll have to go play it back so I can see if I actually showed up. Cause
yeah,
I don't know.
So
hey, Erica.
Yeah, you guys, this is it's been a blast. I love sharing with you guys, and I just pray that, you know, with us, you know, being transparent and sharing our ups and our downs with you guys really helps you guys out, man. I mean, I don't mind being transparent if I know that it's going to help somebody, or even if you're going through it right now and you're saying, I'm so glad it isn't just me that goes through these ups and downs. But, you know, people pay money to go into amusement parks to ride roller coasters. Why? Because they go up and down.
The thrill?
The thrill of ride. That's what marriage is. Marriage is a roller coaster. You get in, you put that thing on, you can't get out. You're locked in. You can't get off the ride in the middle of the ride. You got to go up, you got to go down. There's some corkscrews and some sharp turns, but at the end of the day,
keep all hands and feet in the vehicle until it becomes
yes,
a
keep your hands
stop.
and feet inside the car, but you should screaming the whole way and yelling. Y'all gonna have lots of fun.
Yeah, it is fun, because even when things are difficult. Can you say difficult? That's one of my favorite words to hear you say. Did you ever know that? I love the way you say difficult. For whatever reason, you say difficult in this like weird kind of, like, I don't know, but I really like it. Can you say difficult?
Difficult.
Yeah. You guys can't hear the way he just like said it, but I like when he says difficult. Anyway, even when you look back on some of the most difficult times that you guys have had, you can laugh. Like, I know we do. We can like laugh and be like, remember that time we were so angry at each other? We were so angry. And it's like, we can laugh about it because it's like, it's something that we healed from, we got better from. Like, each little bump, like literally guys, we get stronger with each bump. Like, every wave, every situation that comes at us to come and try our marriage, it's like you can look at it in a negative way, like, oh my gosh, these waves are coming at us all the time, making things difficult in our marriage all the time. But it's not. It's actually the waves that are coming to help fortify and strengthen our marriage, to help us understand how we respond to different things at different times, to see what things set us off. What are your trigger words? It helps us learn and grow closer and grow stronger and be more fortified in our relationship. So.
T-Ra's making fun of you.
What'd she say?
She said, I don't say difficult, different. You just like me.
Oh yeah, I do. T-Ra used to make these jokes about us that those two squirrels, that cartoon with the two squirrels.
Oh, no.
You go first. No, you go first. Oh, please. Oh, please.
Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale, yeah, that's their names, yeah. So she'd make fun of us all the time and say, you guys remind me so much of Chip and Dale, because we'll be sitting saying, what do you want to eat? No, whatever you want to do. No, you please. No, you go first. Oh, no.
Oh, no. After you. Let's go together.
Yeah, so she's been joking about that for years, so she always cracks jokes on us, but it's so funny. But thank you guys so much for joining us today. Are we done?
We're finished for today, y'all.
I appreciate you hanging out with us, Marlon and Melinda.
And Chandra, see you, sis.
Chandra, yeah, all the comments. I really appreciate the comments, you guys. Ariel always pitches in some funny stuff. She usually makes fun of us, but I think she's driving today, so she probably can't type today. But I appreciate you guys joining in today. I never know what the conversations are going to be like, and literally, I'm a ball of nerves when I sit down next to him because he's super random and he'll say anything. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars for marriage counseling. Just get around some crazy pastors that are spontaneous and will tell you all their business and all their mistakes, and you can get all this stuff for free, just
free
from us.
We paid for it.
We paid for it, but you guys can get it for free. So.
Oh, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Jay Ham.
How you doing?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
And Carmel, yep. Hey, look, we love all you guys. You guys have a blessed day.
Hey, Mama Babs, love you too.
Oh, yeah, hey.
Love you, Asia.
And Asia. So you guys, Tanya, man, there's a lot of people on
Tanya.
here. Listen, you guys, today is Memorial Day.
Yeah, can you explain what Memorial Day is?
Okay.
Because he's gotten a lot of text messages.
Okay, yes, listen. I thank everybody that's wishing me a happy Memorial Day, but I'm still alive. That's Veterans Day. But Memorial Day is the day that we celebrate the men and women that served in our country's military and have given their lives while serving in the military, and also those that lost their lives that may not have been in the military, such as 9/11, but they lost their lives for the sake of our freedom and the stuff that we're enjoying right now.
Yeah.
So that's what Memorial Day is. So I just wanted to just give you guys that, and there's some families, some friends, just reach out to them. Make a post just basically saying thank you to all those that have given their lives and paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to have our freedoms.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what today is all about. Veterans Day is November, so that's when you can say, you know, hey, Pastor,
thanks
happy
for your
Veterans
service.
Day. Yeah, I'm like, great. I didn't give up my life for this country, but I gave up my life for the gospel.
I'm so happy you're still alive.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Love you guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. God
bless. See y'all
bless.
next Monday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.